Damascus, a living witness to 11,000 years of human history, was once described as being like a strong woman in her mid-ages with a fading beauty. After 3 years of the start of the war in Syria, the glorious city became home to over 2 million displaced people. They came seeking safety and shelter, leaving behind their memories, buried in the ruins of their destroyed houses. It's the highway connecting the city to the southern suburbs, passing by the eastern Ghouta to the airport. Houses on both sides are partially damaged and empty. Cautious movement on the road. Speed is very important. Keeping your head down doesn't mean you can avoid a sniper's bullets. We just arrived at the Yarmouk camp, a home to over 160,000 Palestinian refugees since 1948. Since December 2012, fighting has caused at least 140,000 Palestinians to flee their homes in Yarmouk, as armed opposition groups established a presence in the area with government forces controlling the periphery. Over 18,000 of Palestinians are trapped in the camp. Nothing was allowed in or out. More than 50 died of hunger. After several months of blockage with nothing to live on except for water and grass, humanitarian agencies managed to bring in some food and medications. There are thousands waiting, but only a couple of hundreds will receive their share today. They've been waiting for months. They don't mind waiting for hours and trying their luck today. Women and men are queuing, desperately, hoping to receive something to feed their starving children with. There is no time for dignity now, it's a matter of survival. Volunteers are serving hot tea to help surviving the freezing cold. This young woman tries to convince the soldier to let her out of the camp. I have relatives outside. My uncle's waiting for me, she says. Who's inside should stay there. No one is allowed to leave except for elderly people with critical health situations. Let her pass the queue. Her baby has a fever. The old man says trying to make sure this baby gets necessary treatment and leave the camp to the land of hope. Children are suffering from malnutrition and dehydration. They all looked pale. They are hungry. They are deprived from their basic rights. They are grown-ups now, but learned how to survive. They do have faith. A date, a piece of bread, is their first solid meal since quite a while. It has sufficient supplements to boost energy in their vulnerable bodies. Tahrid is a mother of a 2-year-old girl. She's displaced herself. She's volunteering today to help in delivering the food. The United Nations Relief and Works Agency for Palestinian Refugees has successfully distributed 7,000 food parcels, a range of other medical supplements to civilians inside the camp. We left the Yarmouk camp driving to Al-Zahra, an area which became a big hosting community for thousands of displaced Syrian families. In a rented room lives Tareed with her mother, 3 siblings, and 2-year-old daughter. As part of our humanitarian aid program in SR's children's villages, the Tareed family receives a food parcel with nutrition supplements and milk for her little girl. It took about a minute before she allowed us inside the house. We asked the young woman, of course, if we can film inside while she tells her story, and she agreed to do so. Some rice, sugar, oil and lentil, all standardized by aid organizations. Syrians had to adapt to the new nutritious habits imposed on them. They can't just afford living as they did 3 years ago. Amal, displaced with her 2 daughters, son and 2 young granddaughters, they left the Yarmouk camp almost a year ago. They had no place to go for 1 month, till they finally found this room, and since then they struggle every month to pay the rent. Her voice became deep. She almost cried as I asked about Yarmouk camp. It's heartbreaking, she said.
خصوصا الفلسطينية ما ترضى تأجرهم وكانوا يكتبوا إنه اللي طالعين من المخيم ما لهم أجار. في لكم حدا جوا لسه بتعرفوه ما قدر يطلع؟ في كتير. يعني مو قرابة مقربين إنه ما عارف في كتير. كمان تطوع قد إيه عمرك زيدان؟
أنا 18.
Zaidan, he's now 18 years old and volunteering with aid organizations to support Palestinian refugees in Syria. He's not allowed to work in Syria, as thousands of Palestinians from the Gaza Strip. They don't get same rights as other Palestinians. They don't even have the travel document that is usually granted for Palestinians in replacement to the passport. Instead, Zaidan has an identity card with his name and a big stamp saying work is not permitted. He can still do though, but it's illegal, and he should find the employer whom would accept this. Tareed is a very enthusiastic young woman and full of energy. She feels responsible and she tries to support her family. No one can take the risk these days, and no one would accept to employ Zaidan, since this would cause trouble. The house is the home for every person. When we lost our house, we felt like losing our home as well, and for the second time. Hopefully we will come back one day. We will have our home back, inshallah. Her name is Amal. It means hope in Arabic, and she's hopeful that one day she'll return to her house.